we're going to follow, you're going to follow in a district court. Reason not, you deal with your general state courts, etc., you know they're callable. Fact of the matter is all the courts are callable now. But what you want to do, you want to follow the suits mainly to start that paper trail, because it's an indicator to the world, not only to those in this said government, but in the world, that you're making effort to make the claim. One of the reasons that weakens us in our issues of regress is that most claims that are made by our people are made in the black codes. They either call themselves blacks, Negroes, colors, etc. It has no real power at law. They'll go through emotions with you because that's not a human being. It doesn't exist. There's no constitution that backs such people. It's a fiction. That's a fiction made up by the European nations to distinguish, like say for instance, like if you have two people standing here, say they're from Misraim, we call Egypt. So you got, say, a brother and sister here, both Misraim, and so the sister, she still honors her mother and father. She's a Misraim, or Egyptian, right? There's a constitution that backs her up, recognized by the rest of the civilized world, and therefore automatically comes into both national and international law and protections. This brother over here, he's Misraim, but he comes dealing with us, he associates with us, so in order to win our favor, he starts calling himself black too, because he's relating to our bloodline, you understand, not understanding that that's not relative, because he thinks that black is relative to a pedigree, is relative to a classification, a code system that was created in 1779 to classify both uncivilized people and people that are outside of government or national governmental principles, who were usually what you call indentured servants or slaves that have not their mothers and their fathers' names, nor their mothers and fathers' inheritance. So therefore there's no law that backs them up, because they're a property, they're a thing that's movable, it's called chattel. So these brands were created or coined to describe that being separate from a national being, so that they can travel in society. So you may have a free man or free woman here, and you may have a slave here, but how do you keep the conflict down? The free man has a nationality, the slave thinks he's a crayon. Very simple. Are we understanding that? Are we following? And see, so it doesn't ring a bell, or it doesn't create an alarm. Do you understand? So it's like, say, so a free being, a free national being will come under constitutional law protections and international law protections, whereas a colored person, Negro, would come under programs that would be issued to them under privilege from the citizens for what you call temporary recognitions. You understand what I'm saying? It'd be called civil rights issues, which would come under the 13th, 14th Amendment, which is a fraud, which makes them automatically corporate property. And so their children, offspring, are all corporate property. Drawley set in motion already those procedures for you to get back to your nationality by claiming them for the public record. That's called nationalization. Ultimately, we're going to have to nationalize this nation anyway in order to save it, but that's another issue. Brother Raheem was talking on those issues earlier. Go, brother. Islam, family.
Thank yourself and your son for all that knowledge you've been kicking from the round table, and it's stuck with me this year. I'm for about a year and stuff, and I feel the spirit of the holy breath, and I'm high up on the square, and I feel good. Now, I learned a lot from them degrees that was given up at the round table. I don't talk that much, but I'm a Mason of high degrees before I learned about them degrees. Now, with the 101s and the Masonic doctrine, they tie in all together, because with the Masonic doctrine talks about is how the three ruffians, Jubilo, and Jubilum, slayed the master builder, which was of King Solomon's temple, which is Grand Master Harmabith. And the Moors, or what they did, Grand Master Harmabith, they took and buried him in a shallow grave in the west. And the Moors are the masters builders of civilization. They did that to the Moors and gave them the name Negro, Black, Coward, and Ethiopian. And they're buried in the shallow grave of the West. I just want to thank y'all again because that knowledge is powerful. But the Circle 7 says the advantage of good things lie not in possession, but in knowing how to use them. So we must set our souls on fire with love and holy zeal one another, knowing that we've been through a great affliction here in the wilderness of North America because a lot of our people is Christianized. They joined the Episcopalian, Pentecostal, Presbyterians of the British Army. So we got to go there and pull them back. When, like in the Masons, you grab your hand and shake the hand, right?
Yeah.
We got to go back and bring them to light.
Pull them up out the grave. Let me throw something out there for that point, because a lot of people don't understand what religion is. Particularly like if you try to pull a brother out of the grave because he's been what they call Christianized,
Right.
they feel threatened because they think Yeshua, or who they call Jesus, was a Christian.
Right.
But I'm going to read again. Remember what I mentioned to you how the Europeans take pride in saying if you want to hide something from a nigger, just put it in a book. Well, let's go again, and this will also assist you when you're helping to raise some of our people, and they get very sensitive because they think you're attacking their religion, or they think you're doing something quote unquote against God because you're telling them to get out from it.
Right.
This is key. Now, how many of you are familiar with the Niceno-Constantinopolitan Creed? Anyone raise your hand? Niceno-Constantinopolitan Creed is one. Niceno-Constantinopolitan Creed. Look at the numbers of people in here, and look how many people are not familiar with that. Now take what I'm getting ready to tell you to heart, because this is a key teaching tool to redeem people, all right, from the sorcerers. They don't know that is the work of sorcerers. This work is to counter the sorcerers, but you must know it in order to counter it, all right? How many people over here have ever been to a church? Most of us have. We're quite familiar with it because we've been pretty much dominated, all right? Now let's go to, the European is so proud of himself, and I don't blame him because he is the Negro God. So let's go into ordinary dictionary with the synopsis. And you know what a synopsis is? A brief, right? So they will give you information in a brief that's indisputable, yet the people who have become believers and followers will dispute you. So let me go to their own literature.